Hello, everyone, and welcome to our live stream. Today, we're gonna go to Malaysia, a very maybe special place for us because we did have our MG Connect there just a couple of months ago, and this is one of the properties that kind of stood up to us, and then what we want to do is help you guys. Maybe if you guys are curious, have a bit of question on the property, we can do that today with our friends from St. Giles Mid Valley, Kuala Lumpur. But before we do get start the live stream, before we do start the session, if you guys have any questions, do type them out in the chat. We are live on YouTube and Instagram, so that way you could maybe use your phone. If you guys like Instagram, sure, we're live on Instagram right now. I have it open on the side here. Hopefully, you guys engage with us. And if you're curious, do say hi uh, if you're familiar with the property. So, without further ado, I do want to invite one of my friends straight from the property itself. Welcome to the show, Yahya. Hi, good morning.
Good morning, Dimas. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you this morning?
I'm great. Thank you for today.
Okay, awesome. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of time, a few moments to introduce yourself to the agents who maybe aren't familiar with you and with the property. You have the spotlight right now. Yeah, yeah.
All right. Thank you, Dimas. Good morning, everybody. I would like to introduce myself first. My name is Yahya Hamsain, but you can call me Yahya. I'm a cluster marketing and communications for Mid Valley City. So one of the property that we have right now is actually St. Giles Mid Valley that we're going to talk about it today. So yeah, this is more or less about it.
Okay, Mid Valley, Kuala Lumpur, right? Maybe we can kind of segue the travel agents who are watching. What can you tell us about your property, Yahya?
Okay. Before that, before we go to the property, right, Dimas, I would like to
Mhm.
introduce actually who we are. The real one is actually we are from the one of the mixed development company in Malaysia. We call it ourselves IGB Group. So IGB Group, we have a few development project. One of it is actually the Mid Valley City itself. So we own the Mid Valley City. So in Mid Valley, yeah. So in Mid Valley City is actually we have a few hotels. So one of it that we are going to talk about actually is one of our upper scale hotel, which is St. Giles Mid Valley Kuala Lumpur. I would like to share with you actually, they must actually we just reopening back the hotels last April, the 1st of April actually. So previously, everybody, maybe some of our friends known us before as the Gardens, Hotels and Residences. So
Okay.
starting from 1st of April, actually, we already refreshed and rebranded back into a something, we call it upper scales, into a St. Giles Mid Valley Kuala Lumpur. So the,
Okay.
so the difference is actually right that the brand itself is actually to positions back all our hotels in Mid Valley City, especially right to everybody know the what's the difference. Like for example, like 5 star, 4 star. So St. Giles Mid Valley is one of our highest category of hotels that we have in our group.
Okay. And it stands out in the Mid Valley. If you look at pictures of the hotel itself, there's a
Yes,
really building
yes, yes.
with a sign with St. Giles here. Right? So I'm very excited to talk about that. And I just want to tell the travel agents who are watching, we are conducting this session in English. Tapi kalau misalnya bisa mau bertanya dengan bahasa Indonesia, silakan. Maybe hopefully Yahya can also answer that, right? But if you guys need help and asking your questions, I'll translate that for you. And
Okay.
then, so one of the things that I always ask is, of course, where are you guys located? Mid Valley, right? But in maybe let's say in terms of how far are you from the airport? Yeah, how long would it take to travel from KLIA to your
Mhm.
property?
Yeah, this is something to is very interesting. But before I go into it, where is our locations? Right, it's actually
Mm.
I think everybody know, especially in the region, either it's Indonesia or Singapore, or Thailand or Vietnam. Everybody know about Mid Valley City. So Mid Valley City is actually located in the central city of Mid Valley. It's just around the corner. So how do I explain this? Actually, in Kuala Lumpur, actually is a city of endless, I mean, like energy, hidden charms. So Mid Valley is just located near to the Bangsa area. So it's just about, uh, let's talk about KLCC. If we talk about driving, we are only about like 15 minutes from the KLCC area. But if we talk about the KL Central, where is all our transportations like LRT, KTM, our train, it's just about 5 minutes away. So let's talk about KLIA itself. If you are driving, it's only about 40 minutes. But most of our guests prefer go to KL Central. And if you took a train to KL Central, it's 26 minutes away.
Okay, so easily accessible, right? I mean, I
Yes.
think most agents and most guests would happen to know that KLIA is a trip away, 40 minutes on average, like that, right? But in relation to the city center, KLCC, and all that, it's like a 5 minute train ride, 5 minute drive, and
Yeah.
it's very much centralized, right? The Mid Valley area here, and
Yeah.
it's really good. The building stands out. You can't really miss it.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about the lobby here, right? I kind of want to segue into the building itself. You When you walk into the lobby, you've got touches of these like gold and very elegant. Like you said, it's your top of the line brand in the St. Giles, right? What can you tell me a little bit about the experience of walking in here?
Okay, this is very, very, very interesting because, like I mentioned, we just I'm not going to say refurbish, but we renovate the whole buildings actually, especially on our room, on our lobby, and then when you enter the lobby, actually, there's a two-way how you can go in. First, of course, our main lobby, you can see over there, the entrance from our driveway, and the second entrance is we are directly connected to the Gardens Mall. So you don't have to go around, you just open the door. There you
Yeah.
go. That's the Garden Mall. So the idea is actually when we develop and when we come out with the idea of developing the new concept and for example, you can see in the picture the sitting area of our lobby is actually, especially on our receptions, is very modern. We
Yeah.
we don't want it to be like typical hotels that is very I can say it's like very typical lobby. What we are doing is actually we play with lights, we play with colors, we play with. Of course, you can see there's a plant, a greenery over there. So the seating capacity, the lighting, everything is to build up based on what we want our guests to feel. Uh, they feel like home. That's the whole idea, is actually. Yeah.
That's why I'm very kind of taken aback. I'm surprised like how luxurious. The moment you step in, you're greeted by like a completely different vibe setting.
Yeah.
You've got touches of gold everywhere,
Yes.
and then it's very spacious, right? You've got a little bit of like tall ceiling here going on in
Yes.
the lobby, and then. Yes, you also mentioned there are two entrances which is connected to the Garden Mall. Maybe people don't realize that the building itself, St. Giles Mid Valley, is connected to that mall. So perfect for maybe guests who don't leave their properties. There's that type of guest, right? I
Yeah.
I want to spend
Yes.
time at the hotel, and
Yes.
then
Yes.
there's activities around there, so it's very
Mm.
good. But I do want to talk about your room categories because you did mention, right, very homey. But maybe let's talk about the different types
Yeah.
of rooms that you offer here.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's talk about make the rooms. We don't want to make things very complicated. Some hotels they come up with a lot of names, a lot of features. What we did is actually we come up with only four room type of category. In
Okay.
total, we have two type of category. We have deluxe room and we have premier room. So the idea is we don't want to uh, our guests feel like confused. Some of people, they when they go to the hotel, especially, uh, They don't want to bother about all this kind of type of room. You have this,
Yes.
so here is actually the difference is, if you can see the four category that we have deluxe room, we have premier room, and we also have wow deluxe room, wow premier room. Actually, wow is actually a floor dedicated for
Okay.
our special guests. Yeah,
Okay, so WoW, and I think you mentioned yesterday too. WoW has a little bit of connection with how the Malaysian culture. You're
yeah,
working a little bit with uh, the word itself kind of derives itself from Malaysian culture, and you are working with the Malaysian Tourism Board with
yeah.
this. All right. So simple, and I think would you have these WoW types? Would they happen to have like extra benefits too?
Yeah, yeah. Before we go talk about the benefits, actually, I would like to add about the wow itself, right? The wow
Okay.
that we have in our hotels rooms actually is come from all over the state. We talk about Kelantan, we talk about Kedah. So every type of wow actually we have it inside our rooms. So this category of room, like for example, not actual wow the kite is that
Yeah.
the design, the painting that we have inside the room is actually we connected into the culture of Malaysia, wow itself. So the difference between from the deluxe room, premier room, normal one to the wow room floor category that we have, actually we have our wow lounge. So wow lounge, some of the hotel call it a business lounge, something like that, but we make it more interesting. We put actual the real wow inside that wow lounge, so you can see, then you can read, okay, for example, like wow bulan, wow bulan, where it's coming from, how big it is, when usually we play, Malaysian people play this wow during what season. All this information we put into the wow lounge. So other than that, it's actually right, so anyone that stay at our wow floor, they are entitled to go house the breakfast. That's the normal one that we have, and of course we have our evening corridors over there. They can also use the meeting room, for example, like a boardroom. The one that I'm sitting right now is actually, I'm sitting at our wow lounge. One of the boardroom actually is for them to use if they stay at our wow room category.
Okay, that's pretty much straightforward. What you explained, right? And then we want to take a little a look at the pictures. Just kind of like starting with the
Oh
deluxe,
yeah,
right? Wow, wow, deluxe and deluxe rooms. There was a question. The room size is the same. The difference between the wow and the regular deluxe rooms are it's located in different floors. I'm assuming, by what you
yeah.
explained just now, right? Okay. What do you
It's
see here?
located in,
Yeah, yeah. Sorry.
actually, you can see over there that you can see, for example, like the painting. You just painting, right? Actually, is a is something that we don't have at our room. In terms of the size of the room, actually, is just more or less the same from our deluxe room. But like I mentioned, what you get is actually the experience that you will get. For example, like wow lounge, of course, you have the parking area for our hotels over there. So the deluxe room that we have normally is just like a normal room. This is one that we understand. I will share with you, Dimas, because some of our guests, they come here for holidays, they come for leisure, and then some of them is for business. So some of the business client actually are very particular what they doing after working hour. So that's why they choose a wow floor. So this floor is
Okay.
actually they use a meeting room, exactly something like that. But at the same time, we don't want to let our leisure or family customer any experience. So that's why we create more or less the same. The sizes itself, you can see that more or less the same.
Yes.
Mm.
Okay. And what are the unique things? This is one of the most common questions that you get, starting with your leading room category, which is your deluxe here. Would you happen to have bathtubs? And you do happen to have bathtubs in this particular room category. Yeah.
I really love to talk
Uh,
about it. Yeah,
yes.
because
And it
it,
looks,
it is
your bathroom looks amazing, by the way.
yeah. So when we create or we design that our room, especially our deluxe room, is actually right.
Mhm.
We come up with a concept like we take every single comment from the guests that we have previously. Some of them they saying, say, hey, your room is too small. So we think, we think this very hard. How are we going to utilize the whole area? So as you can see, the bathroom is actually right. Actually, it's an open concept, but also have their
Yep.
own privacy. What I'm talking about here is actually right. You can close
Yep.
the bathroom, and you can open the bathroom. I mean the wall. So
Yeah.
it's something that different from other hotels, because some of the hotels they have fixed wall.
Yeah.
They have fixed wall
Correct.
for the their bathroom. So when you have a fixed wall, right, the room uh, feel kind of small. So
Yeah.
what
It
we have.
feels stuffy. Right.
Yeah, so the idea when we recreate back our rooms actually, right? Why don't we just create one room, okay? That if the guests think they want more space, they can open the wall.
Yeah. Oh, I
Yeah.
understand. Okay. I mean, in terms of, I think the keyword that sticks with me is it's very homey. What you mentioned
Mhm.
earlier.
Yeah.
This is something that I feel like, uh, man, I want my room like this, right? And your little touches of wood. And
Mhm.
then how your colors are within the interior. It feels very refreshing to me.
Yeah.
I can imagine myself like waking up uh, in the morning in this deluxe room and feeling very refreshed. Uh, Ample lighting you could see from the windows here, right?
Yes. Yes.
If you look at what, would you happen to know what when you open those curtains, what view would you be able to see?
Oh,
Are you like for? Yeah.
of course, one of the view is actually the city center. Like I mentioned, Mid Valley City is surrounded by the whole city, so you can see a lot of buildings around you. But of course, it still have their own privacy. I mean, like it's not really that too close to other building, but you can
Mhm.
see, when you go to New York, you can see the
Yeah.
whole building. So that kind of vibes. So that's the view that we will get.
Okay, there's a question here. Maybe some of the agents are still confused. Does is WOW an abbreviation of something? Yeah, yeah. Uh,
Sorry again, Demas.
there's a question here. You can see at the top of the screen. What does WOW stand for? Like I think I asked you this again yesterday. Is that an abbreviation or for something, or what does it stand for?
Wow is actually in Malaysia, we call it it's a kite. People
Okay.
play a kite. Okay,
Yeah.
so when we want to create, because in Malaysia, especially in hotel line, we always work with our own. We want to introduce the Malaysian culture.
Hmm.
So when we talk about the culture that we want to emphasize, some of them saying that this is the batik things, but we decide wow, because this is something that is very especially one of the wow, we call it wow bulan, from Kelantan. There is something that we are very proud of, so we want to highlight to the world, especially because most of our guests, okay, some of our guests is international. They are coming from Europe, they're coming from Australia, so they have a question. That's why I mentioned to you just now, right? If you go to our wow lounge, there's a descriptions, and we are explaining what is wow all about. Wow is actually is a kite, traditional kite in Malaysia.
Ya. Jadi wow itu layangan sih sebetulnya. Iya, buat teman-teman yang masih bingung, bukan singkatan, tapi it's an
Yeah,
actual like, well, I would say a toy. It's a kite
it's a kite.
in Malaysian culture. Yes. Okay. All right. Now moving on because I want to get to the next room category, which is your premium. It gets a little bit bigger. It gets a little bit more luxurious.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
What can you tell us about this particular room category?
Okay, like we mentioned just now, premier room, we talk about the size.
Yes.
And then the size itself is bigger than our deluxe room. Of course, that is so obvious. But the good things and the real things that I really love about this room category is each floor we have it's like in the corner. We have every
Yeah.
corner. So the space is actually you can see, I'm not saying 360, but 180 degree, you can see the curtain, right? When you open the curtain, You can see the whole city, and you also can see our 118 building. If you are lucky, okay, if you're lucky, there's a certain
Yeah.
area that you can see very straight to the 118 building. So the whole scenery is actually basically, I can say like this to be safe. You can see the whole city of Kuala Lumpur.
Yeah. That was one of the questions I was going to ask. It looks like the most of these like premier category is located in the corner, and apparently I was right. And that it offers like a wider view of the city, right?
Oh yeah, yes.
And so would these premier room categories happen to be in every floor?
In every floor, most of every floor,
In every,
because
okay.
each floor we have at least four premier room over
Okay.
there. In total premier room itself, we have 28 normal premier room, and then for the wow room category, I mean the wow floor, we have at least about 12 rooms about that. And
Okay.
this is very significant to our hotels, because most of the room, the premier room category that we have is actually at the corner.
Okay, awesome. And then what I want to ask you about is the additional amenities that you could see. I could see in this middle photo here that you do have like coffee machines. Anything any amenities that you offer within these room categories?
Oh, okay. Of course, of course. For the room, you can see that of course we have the coffee machines, and then we have the minibar. So the minibar is something that is some people thought is very normal, but for us is very something very special, because we give the, like, of course, the Sprite, salty vida, lychee, something like that. And then the good
Yep.
things about this is actually, right. This is very interesting, because we also provide you a pillow mist.
Okay.
Some people is just like they have this kind of problem, that's why Dimas, when I mentioned earlier, is actually when we recreate the whole rooms, actually we thought about the guests first. We are take very seriously about what guest feedback. So one of the feedback, they said uh is very they have a problem to sleep. Good thing
Okay.
you put a pillow mist inside the room, so I mean that will help them to have a better sleep, you know. And then for the bath,
Okay.
right, we also have a bath salt, something like that, inside the especially our premier room.
Awesome.
Yeah, so this is something that is something special about this room that we have in our St. Giles Mid Valley.
Okay, that's very unique. The two items you just mentioned. I mean, it's something that's really nice to have. Actually,
Yes.
people don't. There are types of guests who are maybe they're in a completely different room. They're not at home, right? And so they have trouble
Mhm.
sleeping. I'm that type of guest actually. Yeah, yeah. So I would actually want to try that out. Your
Yeah,
pillow
I
mist.
would love to have
Uh,
you here in our property.
I'm guessing these like pillow mist would be able to relax the guests, right?
Of course,
And
of
then
course.
they'd have like a better quality sleep. And then you wake up in whether the deluxe or a premier room in St. Giles Mid Valley, Kuala Lumpur. You'll get your rest. You'll get your quality rest. I think that's what you're saying right now. Uh,
That's the things. Yes, of course.
Awesome. Okay, that's pretty much it for the room categories that we want to cover, right? Because it's almost time for lunch. Yeah, yeah. Let's
Okay,
talk about your F&B outlet, which is
all right.
Ember and Brass. Starting with this one, right?
Okay.
What do you have to offer here?
Okay. Amber and Brass, located at our level 6, at our hotels. This is something very interesting and very personal to me, because when we talk about amber and brass, some people talk like, hey, amber and brass. Some of them say amber people's name. Actually, it's not. It's amber. It's the gold, you know,
Yeah.
and brass. So the idea and the concept of this our all day dining restaurant is actually to give you more experience of the new culture of F&B. So,
Okay.
so most of the hotel in Kuala Lumpur, we have this buffet. Now it's very popular with our seafood buffet. So we have these promotions called Fisherman Friday every Friday. That's why we call it Fisherman Friday. So we put all all the seafood. There's no meat, there's no chicken. You know.
Okay. All right.
So this is our major promotions after we open the hotels. Then of course this Amber and Brass also for breakfast, and we also have our own a la carte menu. And the good thing is about this Amber and Brass, actually, Dimas, I would like to share with you. As you can see in the picture there,
Mhm.
we have a veranda. You know,
Yes,
that is
yes. That was what I was gonna ask. You have these three types, I get, seating arrangements, sitting locations. You've got your
yeah,
sofas, you've got your usual dining tables, but then you have
mhm,
this semi-outdoor area where I think
yeah,
when you mentioned like the seafood Fridays,
yeah,
perfect, right, to enjoy.
yeah.
What can you tell us about that?
That's a very perfect. As yeah, I agree with you. As you can see at the first picture, we have this a sofa. Some of them is talk all it is an all day dining restaurant. So some of them come
Mhm.
over to our restaurant. They talk about business. Most of our client is also a businessman. Come over all over the world, especially in our neighbor country. You know, just to share with you, there's some few group from Indonesia also come over here. They have a meeting and discussion in that particular place. You know.
Yes, yes.
They really
Perfect,
love
perfect.
the
Yeah.
vibes. And then the good thing is, right, like I mentioned, because now it's World Cup fever time, you know, the same group watching a football at our veranda area, you
Okay.
know.
You also offer that activity there where you could
Yes,
watch together. Okay, awesome.
yeah. So so
And
yeah.
yeah, go
So
ahead.
yeah.
Sorry.
So sorry, Diman. I would like to add something because the whole idea is when we renovate our own property itself is actually the first priority is what the guests want. You know, so we don't want them to go outside the hotel. We want them to feel and enjoy their stay. So either with their friend or their family. So like I mentioned, there's a group is coming from Indonesia. They're talking and have their discussion while enjoying their evening time watching football at the same place.
Awesome. Right. And then you mentioned earlier for breakfast it's a buffet. So and
Yeah,
then you do have your a la carte lunch and dinner like that.
yeah.
What time is your breakfast open until, Yaya?
Oh, we breakfast. Our breakfast is around about 6:30 until 10:30 in the morning during the weekdays. But during the weekend, we open until 11 o'clock in the morning. But
I
also, I
feel like
also yeah.
Go
Sorry again.
ahead. Sorry. No, I was wondering because I'm looking at your veranda photo here. It doesn't look like it's located on the ground floor. Which floor is your Ember and Brass located in?
Oh, like I mentioned, our Ember and Brass is located at level.
Okay, awesome. Right. I want to go back. There's a question here from a travel agent. Oh, because maybe they're not over your rooms yet. Uh,
Mhm.
Extra beds. Usually, one of the more common questions that agents have for you
Yes,
is your leading room. Can it fit an extra bed? Would you happen
of
to have
course.
any of these features? Yes. Okay.
Of course, we can accommodate our extra bed inside our room. Even though you go to the deluxe room, we can fit it. Like I mentioned, Dimas, the room itself is built based on what the guests want and the feedback
Yes.
they have. So that the space. So when you put extra bed inside, for example, like deluxe room, right, it's going to be like very cramped and very looks small. So that's why the whole idea we have a concept of the wall of the our toilet can be open, so you have more space on that area. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, free up the space, right? All right, so and now moving on because like I mentioned, yeah, it's close to lunchtime already, so we're getting hungry. You already mentioned the seafood. The other part of your F&B outlet would be your this kind of like type of business lounge, which is your Wow Lounge,
Yes. Wow.
only available for guests who are staying in the particular Wow Room categories, right?
Yes, you are
This is
correct.
also another breakfast area.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about this one?
Okay, like this one, this area is actually this is good things about the Wow Lounge. Actually, I'm like I mentioned, I am sitting now at our Wow Lounge. It's located at level 29, the top of the building. You know, you can see the whole area. Of course, you can see the glass there. The whole
There's also a wow, right? There's
yes,
the actual
the view
wow.
is going to be
Thing.
is wow. So of
Yeah.
course you can enjoy your breakfast here, light refreshment, and evening cocktail. So evening turn down service also we provide here. The working desk facilities that I'm sitting right now is actually one of the things that you're going to enjoy if you're sitting, if you stay at, yeah, that is 118. Sorry, that's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so
Uh,
the complimentary car parking, but of course you need to validate your parking ticket before you exit if you are driving your car. So this space, this is area that you can enjoy your breakfast and light refreshment, also your evening cocktails.
okay, it's located way up high, higher than Ember West. So if you need a scenery, you can definitely uh, take your breakfast up here in the
Yeah,
Wow Lunch, which is
yeah.
amazing, right? Are there any differences in the menu between the two F&B outlets you have, Yaya?
We don't want to have that kind of things, but we, in special occasions, some of the guests is they asking some extra or something specials, but that one is depends on our chef availability.
Okay. All right. So what I'm guessing is you guys would cater to special requests by the
Yes,
guests, right? Okay.
yes,
Awesome.
yes.
Now, moving on. It's also a hot day. I'm not sure if Kuala Lumpur is hot right now, but Jakarta
Really,
is really
yes.
hot. Right. So
Same.
we want to move on to the pool, which is a refreshing sight.
Oh yeah,
uh, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And you
Yeah,
also got this like corner bar too. What can you explain about your pool and this extra facility, Yahya?
Actually, Rimas, I would like you go back to the previous picture. You can see the view of the whole buildings. Like I mentioned, if
Yes,
you live in New York, right, that view is breathtaking.
yes,
Actually, this is the swimming pool located at level 5. Actually, is in between our residence and hotels. So the view itself is actually is amazing, especially on the evening when you can see the sunset or during the evening time.
yeah,
That particular area is so nice. Actually, you can see the whole area
yeah.
there. Yeah,
And it's
and
a
then
very big pool.
yes,
It's a
it's a
very big
very
pool.
cool. And then some of the guests also they would like to stay there. As you go back to our five, actually we call it the five pool bar. Actually, some
Yes,
of them
this one.
they would like to hang out there because we also have a menu and they can order. The good things about our place is actually, of course, we have our own staff over there, but you can with your phone. You have this one applications, right? You can order anywhere, anytime, inside our hotels. Of course, but of
Okay.
course, we have our own staff there. If you want to have like orange juice, or maybe you want to your cocktail or your mocktails over there. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. I mean, like, I'm guessing your pool opens from early on to late, right? Because
Yeah.
to enjoy the views, maybe people like to swim a little bit later in the evening, like that.
Yeah.
So it's perfect. It's a perfect kind of setting to just cool off from the hot Kuala Lumpur heat.
Yes.
Uh, right. But looking at the area of your this pool deck right here, would you happen to be able to like book this for an event space?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
we have that a
Okay,
lot. We have that a lot actually, especially on
okay.
on their private
The book.
dinner party or birthday or something like that. They have they would like to enjoy the scenery, right? We also open for this particular request.
Yeah, perfect for standing parties, standing cocktail parties. You're there with,
Yes.
alongside the bar, right?
Yeah.
Because I want to segue into your event spaces too. Additionally, the extra facilities that you have, pools are wellness. You do have your
Yes.
gym that I want to
Yes.
kind of
We have.
quickly mention. Which floor is that located in?
Actually, it's same floor with our swimming pool. It's just around the corner. So some of them is they like to jog or something like that. Then after that, they go to the swimming pool, or
Okay, awesome.
vice versa, something
Yeah.
like that.
So yeah, that's your wellness area here, located on the
Yeah,
fifth floor, right?
fifth floor. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Now, and then as a segue into your event spaces, which is the last part of our session here, not only is your property perfect for the leisure travelers, but in case you
Mhm.
want to do meetings, big
Yeah.
meetings,
Oh,
seminars, conference halls like that, you do have
yeah.
your gardens ballroom here. What can you maybe explain about this?
Okay, I mean, like this is also located at our level five actually for our
Mhm.
garden ballroom. So inside the garden ballroom, actually, you can see the setup over there. This is our classroom. So this one is our theater setup and our classroom setup. For classroom, we can go up to 230 capacity, and then for the theater, we can go up to 600 people in one time. So this is a very the design itself. You can see we have a very high ceilings ballroom, and this is very. And then you can also see there in the picture. There's a veranda. Actually, it's like
Yeah.
uh, yeah, so it's something
Hi-
different from other normal ballroom that you saw. So we
Yeah.
have
Uh,
things.
Uh, going up there, I mean, like for people who want to maybe get away a little bit from the crowd, get a good look of your space here. You do
Yeah.
have that upper floor, that veranda area here, and
Yes.
aptly named, I think, the Gardens Ballroom. A little tinge of green everywhere, which is a really nice touch from the usual kind of vibe for a ballroom here.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
Even your, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
guessing you want to feel actually
Because the
feel like a
because
garden.
the name itself, Dimas, I would like to say is the garden ballroom. So that's why we have
Yes.
this kind of greenery things. Yeah,
Uh,
because some people
awesome.
some people talk that okay, you modern design color like this, but the thing is, the most important thing when you go to these kind of banquet things, you want to be relaxed. Green is one of the color that make your brain feel relaxed. That's the idea.
Okay. Okay. That's a good insight. And then like it's perfect. I feel like it's a completely different experience, a very spacious experience here if you walk into the ballroom, right?
Yeah.
But if you want to talk about the smaller meeting spaces, like
Oh,
the one you're sitting right now,
yes,
but not in particular, you do have your Skyview series, which is not located
yes.
on the same floor. But can you explain about this one? Yeah, yeah.
Like I mentioned, our ballroom located at level five, but our sky view room located at level 28 and 29. So as you
Mhm.
can see over here, our top floor is actually 29. So if you have a meeting in our place, actually you will having a meeting in the sky. That's why we call it sky view. you know?
Okay.
Yeah. So
Stark
we have
contrast, right? You've got your garden like
yeah.
on the lower floor, and then your sky view, and you you have a lot of these meeting rooms.
Yes.
How many in total do you have?
In total, we have 9 meeting room at our Skyview. So, in different two different like level 28 and level 29, like Skyview 1 to level Skyview 4, actually we can cater around, for example, like receptions about 70 packs. So boardroom for Skyview 9, for example, let's say you do a want to have a banquet, you can have like 40 packs in one place actually. You can see in the picture there's a one area that we call it like a lobby something area like that. Yeah, for the receptions.
All
Yeah.
right. Awesome. So, you definitely cater to all kinds of types of travelers, right? And in case they wanted
Yes.
to do some business, some meetings,
Mhm.
and you offer one of the best views in the Kuala Lumpur area because you get to see just a whole city while you're doing business meetings up there
Yes, of
on the
course.
28th and 29th floor, right? You mentioned.
Yes. Yes, yes, it is.
Awesome. All right. So that pretty much covers all n- every corner of your property. Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
then for travel agents who are curious, if they have any more questions, right? We do offer a QR code. Just in case you guys
Yes.
want to find out a little bit more about the
Mhm.
property itself here, do scan it, right? But yeah, it was really fun. I mean, like this is our first St. Giles property that we've kind of talked to about,
Yeah.
and then you kind of went through with your premiere property
Yes.
in
Yes.
Mid Valley, which is really
Yeah.
exciting. Hopefully, all the travel agents are curious and wants to book their guests for a stay in Kuala Lumpur here. Anything to say before we end the session? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I would like to add one more actually, like I mentioned. Mid Valley City is a mixed development area. So the idea is actually for us to ensure all our guests enjoying their stay with us without have a hassles. Especially in Kuala Lumpur, we have Kuala Lumpur, Jakarta, more or less the same. We have a problem with traffic. So we try to avoid that by providing everything is at your fingertips. Means that you go to if you want to go to Mid Valley Mega Mall, it's just around the corner. So it's everywhere. And then we talk about F&B. Some people, for example, they're very particular in what they want to eat. You know, they don't like to eat at our hotels, for example, right? We offer about more than 600 outlet F&B at Mid Valley City, so you can choose that all around the area.
Awesome. Convenience in the heart of the city, right? Mid Valley. It's
Yes,
I mean, it's a very it's another corner of Kuala Lumpur that people might want to try to check out because it has everything right in there.
yes.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, Yahya, for your time today. I
Thank
had a really fun talk with you talking about your premier St. Giles Mid Valley
thank
Kuala
you
Lumpur
so
here.
much too much.
Uh, if there's any agents who do have any questions, do scan that QR code at the end of the show here. Later on, I'll pop it up. But thank you for your time. Yeah, yeah. We'll see you on
Thank
the
you so
next
much,
place.
Giles. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.